How do you know what endpoints to call? Well, all you need is a docs. Understand the communication protocol. You have a front end, and this front end will send the request to an API, typically via REST. There can be different communication protocols such as WebSocket, and then the BE returns a response in Web2. How do you know what endpoints to call? All you need is a docs. Docs or API docs. How is it in Web3? You have a UI or your FE, you have a smart contract on your blockchain network. Then you send a request from your FE to your smart contract. And this is typically in the form of a transaction. We take changing requests as transaction. Inherently, blockchains are a distributed ledger. Ledgers record transactions. And typically, these transaction requests are sent with different communication protocols. But the most common one, at least, is the JSON RPC. And there's something different other than the communication protocol and the payload, which is a transaction. The way it is currently now, you need to compile your smart contract, and after you compile your smart contract, your framework or your tools will give you what I call an interface. And typically, you send this interface to your front-end developer, so your front-end developer can consume this interface to be used in sending these transactions. Our first is to understand the communication protocol, and it is usually done by how? Looking at the official documentation of the network. And as an example, we have here a send transaction documentation for Solana's JSON RPC. It's an HTTP post request with a JSON body. Number one, official docs. Read the official docs for the COM protocol. And then number two is you need to understand what data to send. How do you know what data to send? Number one is through code. You can manually pack data based on the code of the smart contracts that you're going to interact with. Or number two, you can ask from your smart contract developer the interface. So this interface is an artifact that is generated by compiling your smart contracts. Then your smart contract developer sends this interface to your front-end engineer so that this interface could be imported into your front-end code, and it will help you pack that data so you can send it in a transaction. And there are two most common formats for interfaces. For ETH, they call it the ABI. And for Sol, which is my favorite chain, is IDL. Both of these are a JSON file that informs your front-end code what data to pack into a transaction. Else he's gonna be rejected when he goes to the place he's going to. So when you send this transaction, these interfaces will act as a list, and you send it, then you're good to go.